The German Chancellor is in London for what could be a frosty meeting with Britain's Prime Minister about the EU's budget for 2013. Angela Merkel hopes to try and talk David Cameron out of vetoing the budget, something the UK Parliament is urging him to do. Well, joining me now live from Brussels, we have Roger Helmer, MEP from the United Kingdom Independence Party, UKIP. Cameron, would he actually do something as drastic as that, as veto a European Union budget?
Well, he's in a seriously tough spot because he's had the vote in Westminster, which has told him that he can't, in fact, that he should decrease the budget. He's declared that he won't accept more than an inflationary increase. So if he now comes back with a deal that is worse than that, he will be, first of all, very embarrassed. And secondly, he may well have a struggle in getting it through the Westminster Parliament because they have to vote for it.
What would be the consequences of a veto? Some are saying this would be the first step to Britain declaring that it could actually leave the European Union. Is that true?
Well, I don't think David Cameron would intend it to mean that, but I think that a lot of our colleagues in Europe would actually see it in that light. And frankly, from my point of view, I'll be delighted if they do.
But would Britain really survive? I mean, I know you've got a British business background. Would the UK survive without all the trading and all that's involved with the EU at this stage?
Well, the error is in your question. Without all the trading, there is no reason to suppose that Britain would do any less trade with Europe. In fact, we're already members of EFTA, the free trade area which preceded the European Union. And if we were to leave the European Union, we would still be in that free trade area. The Germans would still want to sell us BMWs and Audis and Mercs, and we'd still want to sell them Jaguars and Land Rovers.
Now, you're there in Brussels. Tell us, what would that €100 billion extra funding go to, and is it justified?
It's not justified. The explanation of the Commission is that they have been given many more tasks because they're constantly extending their areas of competence. They're doing many things that either shouldn't be done or should be done much more efficiently. In structural funds, the structural funds, so-called, could be brought back to the member states. The common agricultural policy is hugely wasteful. We've just heard that the Court of Auditors has refused for the 18th year to sign off the accounts. So the European Union is becoming a byword for waste and corruption, and the British people don't understand why they have to pay £53 million a day to be members of this organisation.
But it's not all about waste and corruption. Surely there's many valiant things that the EU does. Poorer EU states, they depend on this sort of financing, don't they? Charity projects, employment, government contracts. I mean, this is something that Britain really should be contributing towards. Well,
it may well be that some of the poorer states welcome the funding they get from Brussels. But of course, from a British point of view, we are and have been for very many years a net contributor to the EU, and we are not getting any benefits. Let's be quite clear, there are no benefits of membership that we could not get from a simple free trade arrangement. Many countries around the world have free trade deals with the European Union. Mexico, Korea, India is negotiating one. They have a much better deal than we have as members.
Well, I'd just like to know what your feelings are for the future of the EU now. A lot of negative talk, huge efforts to keep the Union together, but do you really think it could collapse? The Eurozone, that's what I want to ask you about, the Eurozone itself. What is the future of the Euro now?
The Eurozone, I think, almost inevitably will collapse. I mean, the core of it may remain together, but clearly countries like Greece will have to leave, because if we go on as we are, Greece will require more and more bailouts. It'll be coming back every 6 months saying, sorry guys, we couldn't manage on the money, give us some more money. And Angela Merkel in Germany and the German voter simply will not put up with these constant requests for bailouts. It's got to stop somewhere. And I can't tell you whether it'll be this year or next year or maybe 2014, but it cannot survive in my view.
Roger Helmer, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you joining us live here on RT. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.